Video sessions. Today we've got a very special guest and my dear friend, and we can overuse that word. People say, "Oh, my dear friend, this, dear friend that," but you actually are a friend. I've known you a few years now, haven't I?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And we've shared stuff, haven't we?
Yeah, we work together quite a bit now.
Yeah. So it's great to have you over here, Andy Flute. He's over. We're going to be doing an outreach later, sharing his story at a boxing gym that's just opened, Matlock Boxing Academy, which one of our guys who stayed with us has pioneered. He's won a belt, he's a boxer, so that's going to be great. And we thought, well, we'll get Andy in to our studio sessions where we're talking about relevant stuff like relationships, health, sport, fitness, mental health, addictions, alcohol, drugs. And I told Andy about it. He said, oh, well, I can do all those. I fit into all those. So he fits into all those categories. So we're just going to crack on with an interview. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, because we're going to have lots of stuff like this coming up. There's going to be studio sessions. We're inviting people in to our media studios, and it's going to be great. Helping people with relevant issues in life. How can we encourage people, help, support? So great, Andy, great to have you with us.
Pleasure to be here.
Where have you travelled from today?
Walsall, West Midlands.
West Midlands. Amazing. And we're in the Midlands here, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're in the Midlands, in the heart of Derbyshire, in the heart of the UK. So thanks for coming over. So I thought it would be good, really, just to go back to the beginning and tell us a bit about your family life and being brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share a bit on that?
Yeah, I was brought up in a place called Colsley in West Midlands. Colsley, Tipton area. Yeah, it's like all horses and carts and scrap businesses and stuff like that. It's the Black Country, where all the foundries and all that used to be years ago.
Nice.
You know, they're mostly all gone now, you know, but yeah, I come from a family of fighters. My dad was a boxer, my uncle was a boxer, my brother was a boxer. But we was originally in the scrap business, you know.
Nice.
We had horses and stuff like that.
Cool. It's interesting you say that, because my grandfather, when he came back from the war, he was a rag and bone man.
Yeah, that's how my dad was started off.
And he had a horse.
Yeah.
And all that. So and my skin's dark, as you can see. So we always thought, and there's hints that we had Roman and Gypsy blood in us as well. So I come from that stock. And my granddad, I'm told by my brother, he used to make all his money in felt hats. You know, the trilbies in the hats. He used to make a lot of money out of that. And I saw something recently that the undocumented or uncharted millionaires were all the scrap men and the rag and bone men. They made that much money.
Yeah.
There's actually a documentary out about it now.
It's true, that is.
It's true. So you was brought up doing that, scrap, horse, cart.
I never wanted to go to school. I just wanted to go to work with my dad. You know, my dad started off with horse and carts and built his way up. You know, and then started getting lorries and having a scrap business and all that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did you go to school?
Very rare.
Very rare.
I wanted to go to work with my dad. I don't want to learn at school. I couldn't. I was all very academic, and it was really for me.
Yeah.
You know, but put me in a lorry or put me in the digger or you know, something I was interested in, because I was never interested in nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool. Did you have any issues with social services or wagmen coming to find you or chase you? Or?
No. I did just keep. You know, I didn't just go enough times. Just.
Oh, you went now and again.
Yeah.
You stuck your head in.
Yeah.
Sent sick notes in.
Yeah.
I used to write notes.
Yeah.
Myself from my mum that was off sick.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't spend much time at school.
But I don't. You know, just more really my thing.
Okay, I understand. So you was doing stuff with your dad, working with your dad, and you said, you know, you came from a family of fighters. When did you start fighting then? At what age?
Well, my dad had started boxing like at a young age, and my dad took me to the gym when I was about 3 or 4 years of age.
Wow.
And I just carried on going to the gym from then on, and just watching him and my uncle and my brother. And then I hung around just till I was old enough to box at the age of 11, because by Amateur Boxing Association rules of England, you're not allowed to fight A proper amateur till 11.
Mm.
So I waited till I was 11.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
Excellent. And what happened then when you signed up at 11 years of age?
I had my first fight at Park Hall in Wolverhampton. Yeah, and I won that convincingly.
Mm.
And then I carried on. I just carried on from the age of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I was just winning all the schools titles, National Association of Boys Club titles, junior titles. I just won everything there was, really.
And what was your life consumed by, boxing and working with your dad?
Yeah, and I did have to go to school occasionally.
Yeah.
But like most kids would be out of school after school on the bike, I'd be out on my horse because my dad had bought me an horse.
Mm.
You know, so like, well, you know, when I was 10 years of age, I got my own horse.
Mm.
You know, and I was just a bit different. You know what I mean? I just able to, you know.
Mm. And what did you do when you was out on your horse at that age?
I just go down where there was playing or whatever else, like the playing fields and stuff, and just ride my horse around the fields and just go down the streets and
Cool.
stuff like that, you know. And it was just, yeah, I enjoyed it. My childhood was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I enjoyed, you know, growing up.
Mm.
It was good.
Yeah, we were similar because I was born and raised on a council estate,
Yeah.
and we were in the middle of countryside,
Yeah.
and coal slag heaps, you know, with coal and rucks.
Yeah.
So we'd be in brooks, and we'd be playing all around that, and then getting motorbikes and going on the rucks and all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot more wholesome in those days as regards playing out, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And wholesome stuff.
It was safe and it was all right, you know. I had a few motorbikes as well and stuff like that.
There you go.
You
Yeah,
know.
me too.
Yeah, I remember there was on the one playing field there was a goalpost and there was a hill going up to the goalpost.
You jump it.
I used to jump the goalpost.
Yeah, we did the same. Not jump the goalpost, but it was a hill
Yeah.
going up to the football
and you could
pitch.
go over it, like, and go over the top of the goalpost.
What bikes did you have?
I had first one. I had a couple of them little under 90s and stuff.
Under flackies.
Yeah. Then I had an enduro, like a trial bike, 175.
Nice.
Then I had a couple of. I had a Bull Taco 250,
Oh, nice.
a Yamaha 125, and I had a Honda CR 125.
Yeah.
I had some good bikes, you know.
Cool. Yeah, we started off with the same under plackies,
Yeah.
under 50s up to 90s and stuff. And then we had, I had a Suzuki 185
Yeah.
Scrambler, that was good. I had a CD 175
Yeah.
Honda, great. I had a single pot Triumph 350
Oh, yeah.
Scrambler.
Mm.
That was good. So yeah, great days.
Yeah.
So when did you start getting serious in boxing?
Well,
I know you were serious, but when did it start becoming semi-pro?
It's when they asked me to box for England and stuff, when I won everything as amateur.
Yeah.
You know, then like the things changed then. And then I was invited to go and train with the national team at Crystal Palace. And that's when it got serious.
Amazing, yeah. And we've just connected with a guy called Tony Jeffries,
Yeah.
and he boxed for England as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
He won a gold. And I know you led the English team, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, a few occasions. Yeah. I was picked for the Olympics, but I turned professional instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So go on. So your career's starting to develop now. You're amateur first and leading an England team.
Yeah.
And then you turn professional. What happened turning pro?
I turned professional early because there was no Sport England or nothing then. You know, when I was travelling to Crystal Palace and things like that, I was getting my own train fares and stuff like that. And I remember boxing in one tournament and I had to get my own train fare home and stuff like that. And I was boxing the best in the world for a pat on the back. And I boxed for England quite a few times and I had some good victories. And I did box the world amateur champion in a multi-nations tournament, a chap named Raymond Garby. You can Google him, and he was world number one. But I had to fight the day before. I knocked the Bulgarian out in the second round. Then I fought the world number one, and I lost on a 3-2 decision. Some people thought I'd won it, but for me, then I thought, well, I'm already at the top of the tree because I fought the world amateur champion, lost on a majority decision. And there was no really incentive. They did ask me to go to like the Olympics and the Barcelona Olympics, but I thought, well, I'm fighting the best in the world for a pat on the back, because being in the scrap trade and the horse trade and stuff like that, you want money because cash is king. That's all we, you know, when you're dealing and stuff like that. You know, I just wanted to earn some money. So I stopped boxing for England and stuff, and I turned professional early, which I thought was the right thing to do.
Phenomenal. And who did you sign with Sunday? How was that actualised? How did it happen back in the day?
I just done a box for Ron Gray. I just done a promotional deal with him. Like I had a manager or stuff like that, I'd manage myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I knew what to do. Because like I'd been in the amateur game a long time. We'd had 3 amateur clubs.
Yeah.
We knew the game inside out.
When you say we dad, was that you and your dad, and your family?
Yeah. We'd had 3 amateur clubs and stuff like
Oh,
that.
nice.
Yeah, we knew the game inside out. Like so,
Yes.
the local promoter, Ron Gray, he put on really good shows at Wolverhampton Civic Hall, Dudley Town Hall, and stuff like that. So I started off boxing for them. And the Fight Night series, what used to be on the telly.
Yeah.
One of my early pro fights, I was on that, so that was good as well. You know.
So you started to gain more exposure, really, getting on the TV. What was it, BBC or ITV? Or?
It was that ITV Fight Night thing
Fight Night,
to start with, yeah. But it was good. It was a good, great experience, and you know, being on the back pages of the paper and stuff like that all the time. For my boxing achievements, it was good, man. It was all right.
And what age was you then when it was just starting?
About
to
19.
kick off?
I've just turned 19 when I went professional.
Oh wow! Excellent. And how far did that go?
Within 3 years of being a professional, I boxed for the British middleweight title. That's like the same people as like Alan Minter, Tony Simpson, Terry Downs, and all them. That's what I was fighting for that title.
Yeah.
Within 3 years of being a professional, I had a few setbacks as well, like with cut eyes and stuff. I lost a couple of fights because of a cut eye.
Yeah.
So we had to go back to the drawing board and get a few wins again. But I still, in 3 years, managed to box for the British middleweight title, which was a great night. It was live on BBC One when Harry Carpenter was interviewing Frank Bruno, and Harry Carpenter was interviewing me.
Oh wow!
And I was a young lad. I was like,
they were the guys we looked up to, weren't they? You know what I mean, Harry.
Yeah. And I did box on a couple of shows with Frank Bruno as well.
Oh, nice.
When he boxed at the NEC. And yeah, life was good. You know, it was good. I've got a good foundation and stuff like that. I've got a good amateur background. You know, what put me in good stead for the pros, like, you know. And I was suited to the pro game, you know. But I just kept cutting around the eyes, which was a really, real hindrance.
Yes. And what happened in that championship fight that you had there?
I lost from a cut eye after 7 rounds, but the fight was in the balance. You know.
Did he stop it, the ref, because of the cut eye?
Yeah, the ref stopped it after 7 rounds, and the fight was even.
So disappointed.
I was disappointed, but like in a sense, like I'd won. I'd still won.
In your heart, you knew
I'd
you
still won
was
because I was like I was. Then they'd asked me to fight for the Commonwealth, and then I was like I'd been sparring with Nigel Benn, and I'd been sparring with Chris Eubank and stuff like that. So I'd like, can Barry Hearn offer me a lucrative deal to go in Matchroom, or do I stay boxing for Mickey Duff? Because like I started boxing for Ron Gray, then I left Ron Gray, and then Mickey Duff started putting shows on in the Midlands. So I'd got like quite a good thing to choose from.
So what happened when you were sparring with Ben and Eubank? Did you get paid for doing that?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Did they pay you well?
Yeah, it was paid really well. Yeah.
And who paid? Their stable, their promoters.
The promoters. Yeah.
Were they in Matchroom at that time?
No, Nigel Benn was fighting in Italy for the world title when I went to spar with him.
Yeah.
And his trainer said to me, he said, God's going to use you one day. He said to me, and now I think nothing of it. Like, I don't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
And then I went spar with Eubank as well. And then Eubank said I was his best ever sparring partner, which is the truth. And Barry Hearn come down the gym to watch me spar with him.
And Barry and Matchroom.
Yeah. And Barry Hearn offered me a good deal. But I don't know what to do, because like Mickey Duff had offered me a Commonwealth title fight against Richie Woodhall.
Yeah.
And it says, and then Barry Hearn offered me a fight in Sun City on the Eubank tour. And I don't know what
South
to do.
Africa.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do. And I was like stuck. Shall I box for the Commonwealth, or shall I go and fight on the Eubank tour? And I was impressed with the way Barry Hearn had what he'd done with Chris Eubank. So I thought, well, maybe he could do that with me. Well, he did say, I'll do that with me. He says, Chris is coming to, he says, you're a bit younger. He says, Chris is coming to the end. He said, I can make you the next world champion. And he gave me all the talk and all the things like that. And I signed straight away. I said, let me think about it. And then he invited me down to his office in Romford. And I went down to the Matchroom headquarters. And then I signed on the dotted line.
You signed?
Yeah, I
for
signed.
Barry Hearn?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I signed for Matchroom. Yeah, he offered me a deal that I couldn't refuse. So I signed for him.
Hey, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. So he made you an offer you couldn't refuse?
Yeah.
Was that financial?
Everything, yeah.
Okay. So you signed with him and for him?
Yeah.
Wow. And then what happened on the back of that?
Well, the fight in Sun City never came off.
Yes. But when you signed with him,
Yeah.
did you get an upfront sum?
Yeah.
Was that handsome?
Yeah,
Was that okay?
it was okay, yeah. But
Yeah.
then what happened was, for my first fight for Barry Hearn, it was supposed to be in Sun City on the Eubank World Tour
Yeah.
and on the undercard, and it never come off. He let me down. And then I put me for the first fight for Barry Hearn, I lost him against somebody who I could easily beat. But what happened was it went to my head. I thought I'd actually made it before I'd made it.
Yes. So you didn't go into the fight as prepared as you should have done.
No. I kept going out drinking and partying and stuff like that. And because Eubank is like, there's a lot of sparring partners come into the camp to spar with Eubank, and a lot of them was getting battered and getting sent home. There weren't many what could hold their own with him, and there's me holding me own.
Was he that good then?
He was that good. And he was that strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's only me who could hold me on with him. Like, I ain't saying that out of but it's the truth. I could hold me on, and so that gave me like a lot of confidence. And I thought I'd actually made it. I thought, well, it's only a matter of time now, like before I get nearly where Chris is, like before Barry Hearn makes me a world champion, and therefore through my own stupidity, like I just took that, carried on going out drinking, partying, and stuff like that. Staying out lights and stuff.
And too much?
Too much, yeah. Because I like the women, I like the drink, I liked everything like that.
So you was full on?
I was full on, man, yeah.
But then on the other side, was you full on in training or that was slacking?
I thought I'd made it before I'd made it.
Yes.
And it was my own fault,
Okay.
But the fight they really did me that good because I was supposed to fight in Sun City and then I was boxing at a
lower level.
And that
I understand. So there's disappointment thrown in the mix as well.
That dropped me down. Then they put me with somebody who really died. I have no fear for him.
So you didn't need to train and prepare for them.
So I thought I could just beat him anyway. And really, that was
bad attitude.
Bad mistake, yeah.
Wrong mistake.
Yeah. But you were younger, yeah. I was young and...
Yes.
I
understand.
Yeah.
So how did he beat you? Was it knockout or stopped?
No, he just beat me on points.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
went the distance?
Yeah, I ain't never been knocked out. I'm an amateur or pro.
Wow. Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Have you ever been knocked out on the street?
No, neither.
No, it's over the head with anything and knocked out?
No.
No. I've been knocked out a couple of times. Yeah.
I've had a few close ones.
I've been knocked out with an iron bar over the head once.
Yeah.
Well, twice.
Yeah.
Knocked out. I ended up in hospital one time with concussion.
Yeah.
But I think I've been knocked just a couple of times, which is good for my record.
I've been stabbed and all that. You know what I mean?
You have?
I've been stabbed up and all that. Yeah, I've had some real bad street fights where I could have died.
Yes.
Really bad.
Yeah.
If I'd have gone off my feet, I would have been dead.
Yes. So before we get to that, so you've lost, disappointed, you're not at Sun City.
No.
You're going out. Drink.
Yeah.
The ladies.
Yeah.
Are you taking drugs then?
Yeah.
Coke?
Yeah, to keep me out longer.
Keep you up longer, yeah. So you're doing all that. And where does this end up now?
Well, because of the first loss for Barry Hearn, I was so disappointed. I'd let myself down. So all I wanted to do was rebuild. So I had a few more fights for him and I won them.
And are you still drinking?
Yeah,
drugging?
Yeah. I was drinking nearly every weekend. Every weekend. I just liked it, and I was strong and I was all right. I could get away with it for a bit. You know what I mean? But now it's wrong now, I'm sorry, because you're older and you look back. But I did, it's what I did. I liked it. But I did rebuild myself back up. Yeah, definitely. You
did?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good. And then what happened on the back of that?
I had a couple of world title fights. I boxed Robin Reed, who fought Joe Calzacchi, who pushed Joe Calzacchi to the limit. But I only had two. Barry Hearn rung me up and he said I've got like a bit of a eliminator fight here to fight Robin Reed. And Robin Reed after he beat me, he won the world title at next fight. But I'd only got 2 weeks to prepare for it. He said, Andy, what condition are you in? I said, I'm all right. And I remember Robin Reed from the Crystal Palace, and he's a good fighter. And we boxed together in in Germany together, where I went in the ring as middleweight and he was light middleweight. But I'd only got 2 weeks to get ready. But I thought I underestimated him. I thought I could beat him, but it was like an eliminate for the world title as well. And he beat me. So he went on and won the world title after that next fight, where I had to go back.
So he was close to world titles.
Yeah, no, I boxed 2 versions of them.
Yes.
Like the low one day, but you got to be in the world's top 10 to fight for them.
Yeah.
But like again, all I was interested in was money.
Yeah.
And
partying.
Yeah. I live the proper life as a fighter.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Which is really discipline, commitment, eating right, eat, sleep, live, train, repeat boxing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Total commitment.
Yeah, it's total. I don't do that. I really don't do that. I like to. I mean, Ronnie Davies used to say to me because I sparred with Chris, not only one. I sparred with Chris a lot. And Ronnie Davies used to say to me, he said, Andy, he said, what are you knuckle down? He said, you could be a world champion. You know what I mean? And I said, Ron, I'm doing my job, ain't I? He says, yeah, you're doing your job really well. He said, but you could do so much better.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I said, I was just happy doing what I was doing.
You was younger in those days.
I wanted to just enjoy myself.
And you was enjoying yourself. And that's a good word for our listeners, really, that if you're doing something, do it to the best of your ability and do it with commitment, discipline, and get rid of the distractions.
Yeah, definitely.
As early as you can.
Yeah, I wish I would have now dedicated a bit.
With hindsight, if you would have been more dedicated, committed in health, lifestyle, nutrition, everything, you probably would have been a world champion.
Yeah, well, Chris has said I would be, and Barry Hearn said I would be, and Ron said I would be.
That was the standard.
Yeah.
But you was down here, wasn't you? In the lifestyle.
Yeah, because of my lifestyle.
So for you guys out there, just tweak things, just a little tweak. Lose the negative in your life and infiltrate it with the positive. You may as well do it sooner rather than later, and then you're not going to look back and live with any regret or remorse. I mean, thank God this story gets better. It might get a bit worse, but then your story gets better when we know that we don't need to live in regret, because everything works out together for our good and God's glory, and your life's been totally turned around. So go on, Andy. So what happened then? So where did you go from there?
I carried on boxing, and then I was asked to go and spar with Joe Calzaghe as well. And I just drove to Wales on my own. I wasn't intimidated by anybody. Yeah. I'd say, oh, it's Joe Calzaghe. I just went, how much? And I was just like do a bit of bargaining. Yeah. And then I just drove to Wales on my own and just go and do it. Yeah. I mean, that was a great experience. And then we built myself a few more wins and all that back up. And then I just carried on fighting, to be honest. But then I left Hearn because he do what he like. I know all day, but he put me on the bill at Sun City. Do you know what I mean? And then I had a 12-round fight against Mark Delaney. And I got messed about with that because they put the show on, pulled it off, put it on, called it off, put it on. And then I'd overtrained, but Mark Delaney was also managed by Barry Hearn. But they're fitting it to fit in, not me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So once that 12-round fight, I lost on points over 12 rounds. And once that was over, I said to Hearn, I said, I want my contract back. And he gave it me back.
And when you say about they wanted him and not you, and it was on and off, without going too much into it, do you think there's corruption in boxing?
There's definitely corruption in boxing because
totally corrupt.
I was training at the Peacock Gym and I was sparring with Chris Pyatt, who was a world champion, and I was boxing really well. And they sent one of the spies down to watch me. That's why they called it off. Yes. So they knew that I'd overtrained, so they'd get me at the worst, which they did. What they did worked for them. But that's really what I should have done. When they put it on, I should have pulled out. Because they've done a few dirty tricks, something, but that's the way the name of the game is.
That's the nature of the world, isn't it?
They knew I was going to beat him because I was been sparring with Pyatt and I was sharp, so they called it off. Yeah. And I was having to train in London and live in a hotel and stuff like that, and they knew you wouldn't keep doing that all the time, so they pulled the fight off twice, and then put it on again. Then when I did go through with him, obviously I'd got big bills, hotel bills, and all things like that needed paying. So I went through with it and I just lost on points. So I'd gone flat. You know what I mean? But then I carried on again and I got my contract back, and then I just went on the road and I fought some real top guys. You know what I mean? I fought about 4 world champions and I fought them just for the money. Yeah. But like I said, I just I was tough. I could get through anything.
And how did those fights go?
All lost on points. But short notice.
Yeah.
I boxed Seven Odd who won the world title, beat Robin Reed. Marcus Bayer won the world title. I boxed everybody. Glenn Catley won the world title. I boxed Lev Kikeski. He boxed for the world title. I boxed David Story, who boxed for the world title. I boxed stacks of top guys. So just for the money.
Yes. And again, looking back with hindsight, what you achieved at that level when you was full on with the drink and the drugs and the lifestyle is amazing. How you got that far, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. Yeah, it is. But when I was boxing for England and I was at the top of my game then because I wasn't going out really drinking and things like that. You know, what I mean? And then when I had them victories for England, I was top of my game. But then after that, I let it slip a little bit.
Of course, I understand. Go on. So what happens next?
Well, I went on the road and I boxed in Germany. I boxed in Vienna. I boxed all around the place, to be honest. But I boxed. I dropped level in boxing. Do you know what I mean? I just fought at short notice. And then I had one fight what was live on Sky Sports on the main event. And Joe Kazaki was commentating, didn't he? He said, I was fighting Glenn Catley, and he said, Andy Flute's got a chance. It all depends on how fit he is, because he's coming at a week's notice for a 12-round fight. And I lost on a cut-off after 5 rounds. But then I bought a pub, and I was doing really well financially.
The pub was doing well.
The pub, I've got a few other businesses.
Yeah.
I'd started a wholesale business. I'd started a pub business. I bought a few properties and stuff like that. I was still in the scrap business. We've got a few lorries on the road. I was doing stuff, I was got my hand in a few pies then. So I was doing well financially, and I used to look at the other boxers and that, and I was thinking, well, I am quite doing well, but I'm doing better.
Because of your other pies.
Because I've got
your other business.
So I thought, well, I ain't really got to where I wanted to get in title-wise, but it's all about money anyway, because that's what I was all about anyway. So I thought, well, I'm better off than them anyway.
So what happened? Did you stop? Did you move out of the boxing and focus more on the pub? And the other stuff.
Yeah, I got my hands in quite a lot of stuff, to be honest. And I was doing well in all things.
Yes.
So my boxing was coming last.
And what was your drinking like and your drugs like?
It was just slowly creeping up on me and getting worse.
Okay.
But I was functioning. I was binge drinking.
What, going on benders and stuff?
Yeah, binge drinking, yeah, big binge drinking and staying out all night and stuff. I mean, I'd go out of a Friday, I wouldn't come back till Monday or Tuesday. And we had a Land Cruiser, and had a brand new Land Cruiser, and we just used to drive around the country. We'd drive to Bristol, we'd drive to Manchester, we'd drive everywhere, Nottingham, all over the place, and we just, then we'd drive back to Birmingham for the clubs in Birmingham, like Wobble and stuff like that, and Tintins and that. We'd just stay out there. We'd always,
So you've got lorries on the road, businesses, scrap, pub, etc. But your drinking, drugging, party lifestyle. Did the businesses start to fold? Or slide?
Not really, nah. Not really. I'd got married as well by this time.
Okay.
I was doing well financially. It was all good.
It was all good.
Yeah, it was all good. It was positive. And the drink, everything I've only started to slide when the drink started to become a problem.
Okay, so when did the drink start to become a problem? When did things slide?
Towards the end of my boxing, to be honest. I wasn't bothered about the boxing then. Probably early 30s. Yeah, I wasn't bothered. I was just cracking on with everything else. And I was just thinking, well, I've made it now. I've made it. I'm all right. I've made it. So I don't care. And I had Medi. I had Medi. My old marriage was paid for and all things like that. You know what I mean? And I had Medi. I've done really well. I ain't gonna say but I did. I was financially secure for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
And what happened?
Well, addiction took hold. And I started on a slippery slope. And I kept thinking I could deal with it myself. But it more like a straight thing. It was like a progression.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was like a progression. Every year was getting slowly,
Slowly worse.
slowly worse.
Not like some people where it gets quickly worse.
Some people just go bushes.
But it was slowly
It
for
was
you.
slowly. Yeah, the wheels started to come off slowly.
Mm.
You know, it was a slow process.
And what did that look like, the wheels coming off to being totally off? What things started to slip and slide and
It was
challenges?
like a gradual descent. I got sent to prison a couple of times. That was a bad thing as well.
What for?
Just violence and the wrong things. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time as well, sometimes.
Yeah.
I got in stuff, a lot of, like I said earlier on, I got stabbed and stuff like that. I got some, had some really, really in extreme violence.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean? I had quite a few people working for me what did start extreme violence as well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We've done a lot of debt collecting and a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, we was on the wrong side of the law, to be honest. You know what I mean? We tried to keep everything. Some things we had legal, stuff like that, but mostly everything what we did was illegal.
Okay, so things are getting a bit darker.
Mm.
You end up in prison.
Mm.
And what happened then?
Well, the first time
did things get better or did they get worse?
The first time I went to prison, I was like, I wasn't bothered. Like, I just, I just said to the screw, I said, if you don't give me a cell on my own, I'll beat my pad mate up. And they knew me who I was, because they all know me, because of boxing and all that. You know, I mean, my reputation outside the ring was probably not worse than it was inside the ring. And I don't really. First time I went to prison, I learned. And I just come out of prison, then carried on the lifestyle when I got out of prison. And then before, not long again, I was back in prison again. And the second time I went to prison, I thought, I hate this. I hate it. Because, I've got everything. You know what I mean? I've got a good life, and I hated it. And then I thought, I hate coming here no more. And then I come out again, and I was trying to stop the drinking and stop the drugging it and stuff like that. I was trying to get better, calm it down. Then I knew I had to try and do something because I was spiralling out of control. But I did end up going to jail again. But the third time I come out of Winson Green in 2013, and I says, that's it. That's it. I'm done. I ain't going again. And that's when I started to try and get help with everything.
Okay. So you was determined you wasn't going to commit any crime, no violence. You wasn't going back to prison. That was it.
That was it.
You'd had enough.
I'd had enough.
And did you understand then that it was addiction related as well and alcohol related?
Yeah,
so that's when you needed help.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with me was me.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I don't look for excuses, but the main problem with me drinking and with everything else was me.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good realisation that people need to come to. Yeah. You stop blame shifting.
Yeah.
You don't make excuses. If you stop blaming people and stop making excuses, then you come face to face with who you are in the mirror, and then you can ask for help and change. And it's interesting. One of the greatest evangelists, D.L. Moody of all time, he built big Bible colleges and YMCAs and filled Crystal Palace in London. Hundreds of thousands, amazing evangelist, D.L. Moody. And someone said to him, Mr. Moody, who's the person who do you have the most problems with? And he didn't even have to think about it. He said, the person I have the most problems with is D.L. Moody. Is with myself.
Yeah, well, that's same here. I knew that.
Yeah.
It was me. What needed fixing?
Go on, so you cried out for help.
Yeah, and I started looking into, I'd already been going to Alcoholics Anonymous and that, my sister took me to my first meeting because years back. But when you get to these Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, let me tell you, because if anybody's struggling with addiction, don't do what I did.
Tell them there, Andy. Tell them in the camera.
If anybody's struggling with addiction and you seek the right help, don't think you can do it yourself. Because what I did, I went to these meetings and listened and that, and then thought, I'll do it myself, as bad as them. That's all I listened. But then when I did go back into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, I was worse. So the first few meetings are the most important. Now, I could have saved myself a lot of pain, and my family a lot of pain. If I would have put more effort in early on, and I never did, because I thought, well, I can do it myself.
Yeah.
And I was still in a bit of denial as well, because part of me thought, well, I don't really want to stop drinking. I just want to cut down.
Yes.
You know, I don't, because I like drinking, because I had some good times with drinking. I took times abroad and things like that, and everything else. And I was still holding on to the fact that I wanted to still drink, but I just want to cut down. But every time I did have a drink,
that was it.
I couldn't stop, because once you've crossed over into alcoholism, your body's had a psychological and a physical change, and it sets a chemical off called acetone, and you can't stop. There's all different levels of alcoholism and drug addiction. You know what I mean? There's some, like, alcoholics who can function, they can function and do whatever they've got to do. But for me, once I'd had that one drink, I couldn't stop till it stopped me.
Yes.
That's how it got me in the end.
Oh no, did it stop you?
It did stop me, because I was stuck in the room just drinking bottle after bottle after bottle towards the end.
Was you eating?
No. I had a crack habit as well. Yeah, because I'd started dabbling in crack and stuff like that. I remember going to court drunk, and I told all the people in the court, the judges and that, to F off, and I run out of the court. And I went on the run because they would all run out after me. And I went to a crack den. I hid in the crack den because I knew they couldn't find me. And in that crack den, I just stayed there for quite some time and just blew thousands. And when I was glad to get out of there, because my mouth and all the sores and all the, and I couldn't function. I was glad to get out of there. You know, real bad how far it can take you.
From when you said you was married,
yeah,
the pub,
yeah,
lorries on the road, scrap business, other businesses,
they all
you was all okay. Now you're saying
Mm.
you're in a room on your own,
Yeah,
drinking alcohol,
Yeah.
licking rock, smoking crack.
yeah,
You run off to a crack house.
yeah.
You're locked in a crack house, spending thousands, probably hundreds of thousands.
I went on the crack after the cocaine. It won't have no effect.
Yeah.
I'd sniff an old grab of cocaine in one go, just to, that was just what I did. And I'd sniff tequila up my nose as well.
You sniff what?
Sniff tequila.
Tequila?
I'd put tequila in a bottle top and sniff it.
Wow.
Just for the heat, because it was a big, strong heat.
Yeah, it'll go straight in your bloodstream.
Pure alcohol.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, some of the stuff I did. Some of the stuff.
So go on. So you've left the crack place. It sounds like you're on the bones of your arse.
I was.
Have you got any money left?
Yeah, I got some bit, but I was back at my mum and dad's then. I had to go back to my mum and dad's because my marriage had fell apart and everything else.
So you'd lost everything?
I hadn't lost everything then. I was on the verge of it.
Yes.
But by the time I did get back to my mum and dad's, I was in a mess, man. I mean, I was really in a mess.
Had you lost weight?
Yeah. I was a shivering alcoholic mess.
Yeah.
And I was too scared to go out the house. I mean,
What was you scared of? Was you paranoid?
I was paranoid, yeah. I was really paranoid. And it was horrible. It was a horrible situation to be. You go from being being one of the best boxers in the world, fighting all the top stars and all that, and then I was on the front page of the papers as well, one stage, for all my trouble and all the stuff I'd got in as well. I did fall quite a lot, because I was up there, then I went down there. I went from a local hero to a local drunk, to be honest, an addict. I don't know. It was painful for everybody to watch, yeah. It was painful for your family, for your loved ones to see. It is painful. And I did try to commit suicide because I'd had enough. I couldn't cope with what I'd become. I couldn't cope with what I'd become. And I put all these tablets together, and I'd had enough. I was crying. I think of what my life was, what I'd come to and all that. And I'd put all these tablets together and I just went, that's it, bye-bye world, I'm gone. And I took all these tablets and I woke up in the hospital. And I was found.
Wow. So now you're trying to commit suicide?
Yeah, because I couldn't.
And you're serious about it?
It wasn't to cry for help. I'd had enough.
Yes.
I really had enough.
Well, what was it like when you came round?
I came round and the crisis team come to see me. And they said to me, there's people in this hospital with worse problems than you. And that resentment to an alcoholic is like a red flag to a bull. And I just left the hospital and went back out, started drinking and drugging it again. Shame. I was in people couldn't recognise me.
And was you still at your mum and dad's now?
Yeah, I was in a right mess, man. I I was in a mess. I couldn't. I never wanted nobody to see me or nothing. I mean.
So when did things start to get a little better then, or when did you ask for help and what happened?
Like I said, I carried on with Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been to Bushy Fields Rehab and all stuff like that. I've tried all sorts of stuff. I've tried everything. I went to the doctors, got some anti-abuse tablets, what George Best took.
Yeah.
I ended up drinking on them. Because I was the voice in my head was always have a drink all the time. It never left me, and it was always there all the time. And it's like in addiction, it's like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. So when I would have a drink, the only way I could stop was when my body stopped me, not when I decided to. So I couldn't decide, because the only way I could stop was when I physically couldn't take another drink, and I just had to lie there, shivering, shaking, and for it to pass. Sweating and hallucinating and all sorts. So it's horrendous for anybody to go through. And for me dad, who like seen me fight, with my coach and all that, he broke his heart. And my mum to see like such a strong lad, what I was, and that to be like such a mess.
And a lot of our viewers will be able to relate to this and been through similar stuff or know people. So please share this video with them, because this story is about to start to get better. So when did things start to get better? What happened, Andy?
Well, I kept on trying, failing, trying, and then I got in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've already been in, but I hadn't really got serious about it. You know what I mean? And then I got this sponsor named Paul. Who was good. I didn't just pick anybody. I waited for somebody who got a good story, who walked the walk. And I asked him. I said, Paul, will you sponsor me? And he said, yeah. Step one is like totally admitting that you're powerless over alcohol. But I hadn't got that. I hadn't nailed that, because I still was holding on to the fact that I wanted to drink. And I kept going to the meetings, but I kept failing. Because I was got one foot in and one foot out. You know what I mean? But after so many bad things had happened to me, I'd had enough. You know what I mean? I'd had enough. I did push it right to the limit, and I kept going and kept going and kept going. And then Paul said to me, he said, Andy, he says, you've done everything else. He says, why are you trying to find a higher power? And he says, it's a spiritual program. You need to find higher power. And I said, Paul, I don't believe in none of that, really. He said, well, Andy, he said, if you carry on like this, you're going to die. He says, you ain't got long left. He says, you ain't got long left, and you ain't got many recoveries left in you, because your body's battered, which you've drunk and drugged and took. Because when I used to have a binge, I could drink like 10 bottles of shorts, vodka or Jack Daniels. Or I remember one time I drank 16 bottles of Jack Daniels in 4 days. I remember once being drunk for 2 months every day, every single day. If I was awake, my eyes was open, I was drunk. You know what I mean? So them sort of benders, your body can't take them.
So he said you need a higher power.
Yeah, he said to me, I need to find a higher power, and I thought, I don't believe in that. So I get free. So I went back out again and I had another few relapses. And I went back to him. I said, Paul, I'm ready to find this higher power. Do you know what I mean? And he said, okay. He said, and I went to a church. And I walked in the church. It was like I'd have seen a folk King Kong, to be honest. It was like because my head was in such a mess. I mean, it takes an awful hard to walk in a church, but for me, it was. But I did, and they made me feel really welcome. And I thought they wanted something off me, because they made me feel so welcome. And I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. I kept relapsing. I kept going to meetings. I kept going to church. I just kept trying. But yeah, and then one I'd lost my marriage, and I'd lost more or less everything by this time. Everything was gone. Everything was gone, because that's what it does. Alcohol, it removes everything. It's a great remover. It'll remove everything, people, everything. And it would strip me right down, and I hated what I'd become. I hated, that I'd come down to that, and I lost all my licences, all my HGV licences. When I used to drive Arctics and to Barcelona and Turin and everything, and drive my 8-wheelers, I'd lost them all. I'd lost it. I'd lost my car licences. I'd lost it because I'd smashed cars up on the road and run off and stuff, and then got done for leaving the scene and everything else. I'd lost everything. I'd lost my boxing licence, lost my boxing trainer's licence, I'd lost my security licence. All my licences had gone. Right. Yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough, horrible going back to it, like, but yeah. And I kept going to this church, and this guy named John Camphorn, he bought me first Bible. Yeah, I gotta watch it, I'll get upset. The pain comes back, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I just kept trying. I didn't give up. That's the only good thing what because a lot of people in
You didn't give up. What, you kept going to church and to AA?
Yeah. I went to AA for every day for a year, but I still kept relapsing.
Yeah.
And then I'd have a relapse, and it was like a breakdown. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't go out.
So do they encourage you that if you do relapse, just go back to another meeting?
Yeah.
Go back to another meeting.
Yeah,
go back to another meeting.
Yeah. They say get your bum on the seat and your head will follow. And that worked for me because I don't understand things to start with, but I kept going to the meetings because I knew I'd got it, and I kept going and kept going and kept going and getting. And, you know.
And were the relapses getting less?
Yeah. I was trying, and I started going to church and stuff like that and everything else as well. I won't get in that either, but I still kept going because I was trying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remember, like, when they said you got to find an higher power. I remember my school's assembly at Walbrook Primary School where they said, you need, you know, when they said the Lord's Prayer and stuff like that. That's why I tried to find the higher power, like God, Jesus, and all that. So I thought, well, I've got to try and find it. You know what I mean? And that's why I went to a church and stuff. And I just, you know, I just kept going and going and going. Kept trying, relapsing. You know, get back on the horse. But I just kept trying. You know, and it was every relapse was getting worse and worse and worse. And I was more or less at the last chance alone, to be honest. And the one time I'd done 6 months sober, and I felt great. But the voice in my head all the while was like, have a drink. Even though I was doing the meetings in the church, and I thought, I'm all right. I was thinking, I'm all right now. I started training again, got myself fit, got myself back, you know, trying to build my life back together. Because that's how it is. You build your life back up, then you knock it all down again. And anybody in addiction knows this, like, because people don't understand unless they've, you know, unless you've actually walked it. It's hard for people to understand unless you've been there yourself.
Yeah.
And this one particular time, I'll get to my last drink now. I'd split up with, you know, I was back at mum and dad's and I met another girl, but I wasn't really seeing her like as such. I was just friends like and stuff. And I took her to this boxing event in Cannock, and I'd been off the drink quite some time. And I went to the bar to get a drink. That voice in my head says, have a drink. So I let me guard down. And I did, I had a drink. And that drink nearly killed me. It lasted 2 weeks where I was drank for 24/7. You know? And she thought I was going to die, the girl I was with. And she found the pastor and John. And they came and prayed for me. And then when they left, I dropped on my knees. I just said, God, if you're real. I said, if you're real, you help me. I said, I promise you I'll follow you for the rest of my life. And I had a drink since, or a drug. That's the truth. Really.
And what happened when you dropped to your knees and prayed that prayer? Did you feel anything?
Yeah, I was in such a mess, to be honest. I felt
tell the people watching in that camera.
I was in such a mess, to be honest, but I had like I don't know at the time, I had a funny feeling, but I've been told like it was a spiritual awakening. And I had that feeling where God met me and I felt the presence of God. And from that day to this, I've never had another drink. And then I carried on with Alcoholics Anonymous, and I got my sponsor, and I got him to take me through the 12 steps of recovery. And then when I was on steps 4 and 5, writing an inventory out of all the people that had harmed and willing to make amends and all that, I had another spiritual awakening. But this time I was sober, and I felt the presence of God go right through my body. And I went, what was that? He went, God's just touched you, Andy. And he said, God's just forgiven you for all what you've done. And since then, I've rebuilt my life. I've rebuilt my life, and I keep God first now all the time. And Jesus, and I wrote a book called Jesus in My Corner. What I wrote in recovery, just put it together through, and it's helped lots of people. But you know, the main thing about the book is it carries the name of Jesus. To be honest, and you know, when I managed to come through the worst time in my life, yeah, I'm lucky to be alive. To be honest,
Yes.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful today because I had everything, lost everything, but no, I don't treat life like that no more.
Yeah, and so you're going on this sort of spiritual journey through AA and the local church. You come to the end of yourself. You ask for prayer. You pray. You have a spiritual awakening. And then what's been happening since then? Have you put new disciplines in your life, new commitments? What have you got back in your life?
Well, because I knew, like I'd felt the presence of God, and I knew that I could not stop drinking myself. So I knew God had done it.
Yes.
So I decided, if I thought, well, God can stop that, what else can He do for me?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I put every effort I could into learning the Bible and learning about God, because you know, God, you know, one of the verses that I come across in Matthew 6:33, God says, "I will reward those who diligently seek me." So I thought, well, I'll have some of that. I want God to reward me because He's took my addictions away. So what else can He do for me? So I thought, well, I'll put God first, and then I put God first, and my life's just got better and better and better. And I'm in a better position now than I ever was ever. You know, and I've got
why is that?
Because I've got God at the forefront of it all.
And what does that look like in your daily life and your weekly? In your life? What do you do in your life now?
Because I've got peace.
Yeah.
I never had peace in my head or my heart. I was always searching for something anyway.
Yeah, driven almost.
Yeah, but I found something that actually works.
And are you training now?
Yeah, I'm training, I'm fit, I train other fighters and stuff like that. And I've launched a little ministry myself, GC in my corner, where I go around the country talking in places and stuff like that, and just telling people my testimony and what.
And you've written a book?
Yeah.
Your biography, testimony book?
Yeah. And I just, you know, because when I said to God, if you take my addictions away, I'll follow you.
Yes.
I meant it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and now I have been offered to do the wrong things, but I won't break that promise because I don't want to end up where I was.
Yeah.
And the fear of the Lord is the start of wisdom. It's the beginning of wisdom. And for them what don't know the Lord, I would like to encourage you to. It's the best decision I ever made. And the only regret I've got in life is I wished I would have found Jesus earlier in my life when I was boxing and when I was younger. Not having to go through all that pain and misery and put all my family through that, my children and everybody. You know, life could have been, a lot better if I would have found that earlier.
Yeah, and if people want to book you for a speaking engagement or a media interview or television or radio, how will they find you best?
They can contact me on Facebook or Instagram or...
Yeah, just look for Andy Flute.
Yeah.
ANDY FLUTE. Search for Andy Flute. You'll find him, you can contact him, and he'll come and share. You know, he's been coming to us for a while now. We're doing this interview here, but he's speaking at a new boxing academy in Matlock. Big shout out to Harry and Matlock Boxing Academy will be there later today. So and are you engaged?
Yeah, I'm engaged now to Angela, the girl who saved my life quite a few times.
Yeah.
I've just got my children and all that back in my life. And life's pretty good. Life's pretty good now. But like I said, I've got peace, but I never had peace.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
You know what I mean? I've not got back financially, you know, what I did have, but that don't bother me because, you know, I'm peaceful. I've got everything I need. You know, it's only greed and everything else. You know what I mean? But I've got everything I need, and I've got peace, and to have that peace and peace in your heart and peace in your head, it's worth more than anything.
Exactly, and you've got purpose in your life.
Yeah.
And you've got community.
Yeah. You've
got people around you.
Yeah,
You've got family who love you. You love them.
And you know what? The people who knew the old me, you know, they've encouraged as well because they've seen such a change.
Yeah.
That they think, well, I want some of that as well.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because you can't fake it to make it with God and stuff like that because he'll find you out. You know, and I'm just happy. You know, the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life, it's turned out to be the best thing in my life because I found God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I would have gone to hell. If I would have died, I would have gone to hell. Heaven and hell are real. Do you know, and there's one way. one way or the other way. You either get to heaven or you get to hell. And God showed me mercy. He showed me mercy, and I'm grateful to that. You know.
Exactly. Well, thanks for coming in the studio and sharing on our studio sessions, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. And please like, comment, subscribe. We're doing lots more interviews like this. But we'd be remiss if we didn't give you an opportunity to do what Andy did and commit your life to Christ. Ask God to come into your life, to forgive you, meet you where you are. If you've got any addictions, deliver you, set you free, heal you, and put you on the right path, the way, the truth, and the life. So we just give you an opportunity to pray. Now, just allow us to pray with you and for you. And if you want to pray the prayer that Andy prayed, that I prayed, that many, many others have prayed, just pray this prayer with us right now, and we'll bless you. So, dear Lord Jesus, I'm sorry for going my own way. Come into my life, forgive me, heal me. I turn from going my own way, I turn to you. Cleanse me with your blood, fill me with your spirit, and help me follow you for the rest of my days. In Jesus' name. And we agree with you and say amen. Well, thanks for tuning into Studio Sessions. Don't miss us. We do them midweek. We do them Sunday mornings. We're going to be covering lots of issues about life controlling issues, relevant topics, relationships, leadership, entrepreneurship, addictions, mental health, finances. We're covering all kinds of stuff. So subscribe to the channel. And it's goodbye from Andy.
Goodbye there.
And it's goodbye from me. That's like the two Ronnies. Do you remember the two
Yeah.
Ronnies finish? So we love you. We bless